is someone who has gone ahead and won the BBC Mastermind Quiz. And for those you know, it's one of the toughest quizzes on TV. Not only did she win the quiz, BBC got together the winners of all the Mastermind quizzes together and they pitted them with each other. And she went on to win that. She went on to win the Champion of Champions trophy as well. She's the past national president of FICCI, a very prestigious industry body. She graduated from IIM Ahmedabad, one of the best B schools in India, actually the #1 B school in India. And she did something remarkable after that, which you and me would think is a little odd. She went on to study gemology, the study of gems. Guess what? She went on to build a company called Touchstone, which is one of India's largest and a pioneer in the field of ethnic jewelry. Who am I talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, Archana Garodia Gupta, please.
Good morning. It's wonderful to be here in Chennai. I always love coming here, and it's wonderful for us North Indians to see so much of the culture still preserved here. Thank you all for sparing your Saturdays to be with us. I'm going to talk on social wellness. We'll be hearing about more aspects of wellness, but being part of society and how that affects our wellness is going to be the crux of my topic. So, I was wondering about the Musée d'Orsay a few years ago, and I came across this painting. This is called The Dream. It's a young man dreaming of l'amour, la gloire et la richesse. That is love, glory of fame, and wealth. I think if we do a survey, and we have so many college students with us here, and ask them what their goals are, they're going to say that it is wealth and fame. A study among the millennials conducted recently had 80% of them saying that to be rich is their primary goal, and 50% of them wanted to be famous. I think we all agree, in our youth, we all dream of this. But is this truly what makes us happy in the long run? Is this what makes us healthy? Is this what makes us live longer? So, of course, this is an answer which all of us human beings have been seeking since millennia, as to where we should put our efforts to live a very healthy life. All the religions, our gurus, our new age gurus, our self-help books, they all address this question. But I'm going to take a slightly different approach. We're going to look at a large number of studies have been conducted, looking at people who have lived healthy and happy lives, and what are the factors which distinguish these lives. I'm going to share some data with you from different studies which have been conducted across the world, which will hopefully answer where we should put in the effort to be happy, healthy, and long-lived. There is a Harvard study of adult development, which they started in 1939 with Harvard students and as well as teenagers from disadvantaged areas. These people have been tracked over the last 75 years. I think this would be unique. I don't think there have been such long-ranging studies before this. And incidentally, JFK is one of the students who was part of this study. 724 people were tracked. 60 of them are still alive. These people, all their indicators were mapped on a year-on-year basis, how they were doing financially, how they were doing health-wise, medical records, bank statements, their relationships with their families, the number of friends they had. Interviews were conducted with them, with family members. And it has thrown up many results. Who are the people who have lived the longest and who have lived well? So, I'd like to share some of the results with you. Incidentally, one result which is not to do with wellness, which was thrown up by this, is that people who had an IQ of around 115 versus people who had an IQ of 150 and above, there was no difference in their earning in the long term. So, Harvard study, 3 key lessons. They found that what really mattered in happiness and health was not how much you earned or how successful you became or how well known you were. It was the quality of the relationships that you had. That if you had good relationships with your family, with your friends, with the community, you had a good level of connectedness, that you would live longer, you would have better medical records, and that social isolation or loneliness was toxic. Loneliness, social isolation kills. Um, Social isolation in another study was mapped that it was as toxic to your health as cigarette smoking. So this is something that we need to watch out for. A second study was that the quality of relationship matters and not the number, or whether you're in a committed relationship. Even people who are married, who are in a committed relationship, but if it's a high conflict relationship, then that is very bad for your health. It's even better to be isolated or lonely than to be in a conflict-ridden environment. And it's not the number of friends you have, but whether you can trust them, whether it's a satisfactory relationship. That's what influenced your health. The third thing is that good relationships did not only protect your health, but it also protected your brain. You would, your memory loss would be delayed. You would be sharper, your cognitive senses would be better. People in their 80s who were in a good relationship were much better off mentally than people who were not. How do we define a good relationship? A good relationship is a trust-based relationship where you can trust that the other person, who could be a spouse, a friend, a child, anybody, that person is there for you. You can call them up at midnight for any need that you have. And that was what was important, and not the relationship itself, but the quality of trust in that relationship. Social isolation, as I said, it is as detrimental to health as cigarette smoking. Probably this comes out of our evolutionary imperative that human beings are social animals. We have no claws or fangs. We cannot survive on our own in the wild. We could only survive in groups. So if you need your group for protection and you need your group for food. Any animal as well as any human who would be separated from the group would immediately go in a state of high anxiety because they were under threat from the environment. We still have that atavistic response in us. If we are not part of a group, we are not close to other people, we go into this high stress mode, and all the stress hormones that get released, it causes cholesterol, it causes heart problems, it causes diabetes. So this social isolation is something we should look out for, that we don't get into a situation of social isolation. Other studies besides the Harvard studies, a study conducted in UK hospitals showed that there was a clear relationship between the number of visitors person recovering got and how soon the patient recovered. I think in India that would not be an issue. We all get a lot of visitors. But that again, then volunteering. They found that people who volunteer, there was a London School of Economics study on American adults, and there was a Duke University study, and the essential results were that people who volunteer, it increases their happiness level tremendously. They compared a group of people who never volunteered versus a group of people who volunteered once a week. And they found that the increase in level of happiness between the two groups was the same as the increase in level of happiness between two groups they'd compared, one of which had an average income of $20,000 and one had an average income of $75,000. That is, it's quite, instead of earning $75,000, if volunteering once a week gives you that level of happiness, I think all of us can access that reasonably easily. The other thing is that among older adults, they found that the mortality or the health level of people who receive support did not improve, but of people who gave support, and then they looked at them 5 years later, their level of mortality was lower and their health was better. So this is something, again, we all know we feel happy in giving, but we don't realize how directly it actually influences us. So a good relationship with family and friends is not optional, but as essential as good food and exercise. What is social wellness? Social wellness is a feeling of being connected to people and the community and of feeling happy in these relationships. Social wellness is different from social networking, which a lot of people now are substituting for actually meeting people. The number of likes on Facebook defines how popular or happy you are to a lot of people. It's also different from business networking. A lot of us go for meetings and we meet people and we think that we are getting better known or better off. But those are transaction-based relationships. What really improves your health and happiness is trust-based relationships. It is important that we have trust-based relationships for the benefits that we want to see. Now I'll come to some tips. On all of us are here. I would like to share some tips on how to improve your social wellness. First is that be proactive. A lot of us just wait for somebody to come to us, to invite us, we should go out and make time and meet people that we are fond of, that we feel happy being with, whom we trust. We must be proactive. Another study by a gentleman called Tim Rath, who worked for Gallup and who looked at 8 million records. He was trying to figure out what is the optimum number of friends which will give you health benefit. This is his theory, that if you have about 4 close personal friends or relatives, as the number increases up to 4, you will have increase in health and happiness. Beyond 4, it is optional. So this is a number which has been studied by Mr. Tim Rath. Frequency. You should meet a close friend at least once a week. It doesn't need to be the same friend that you're meeting every week. But once a week, you should take out quality time to meet a friend. You should initiate social interactions. You should organize events where you meet people or you get them together. You should invite people to your home at least once a month. That's also a way to show trust. You see, we are hesitant quite often about inviting people to our home. We wonder what they'll think. But once you're inviting somebody to your house, you're showing trust in that person. And you have to put in more than you get out. Always. You must think like that, so that unless you be a friend, how will somebody be a friend to you? So that is important. Must volunteer. You must join some cause. And when you join the cause, if you like somebody, become friends with them and move them also out of that formal interaction. Meet them informally if you want to develop that relationship. You have to be open to new relationships. A lot of us think we are too old, we are closed, we don't do that. You have to be open to new relationships. You have to work at relationships with family. A lot of us, we have random feuds with people, not talking to this person. Life is too short. We need to spend that time with our family and put in time. We take them for granted. We never give them time. And that is very important. The crux is, and it's never too late to start. Social wellness in that way is like physical fitness. You can start at any age and you'll get immediate benefit as well as long-term benefit. So we must do that. We must put in, as I said, more than you take out. So my message as I finish, we have to lean into our relationships. We have been taught to lean into our work and to lean into our whatever roles, but we have to lean into our relationships, and it's never too early to start. This is what is going to give you the maximum happiness in your life to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Archana. I have a couple of questions for you. Now, IIM Ahmedabad, and then you leave, you finish that, and you start to get into gyms. What did your friends, all getting them into McKinsey's and Infosys. What did you think?
I'd like to say that I was amongst the top 15 of my batch, so it was not that I wasn't getting a job and this is what I had to do. But we come from a business family, so business to me is the way to create and to give expression to your own creativity and your own things. So initially, of course, I joined the family business for training, which is textiles. This we thought was a tremendous opportunity for imitation jewelry because there was no market. When we started off in the 1990s, this industry did not exist.
Got it.
So we were the pioneers for this industry. We were the first people to set up a brand and start selling through formal and informal channels.
Got it.
And it's now, I think, a 15,000 crore industries up from zero. So this is awesome. Really a growth industry.
That's awesome. All right. Up next is, and I particularly want you to answer this for all the youngsters sitting up there on the balcony. There seems to be this stream of excellence running through your life, right? There's I am Ahmedabad, then you show leadership qualities in FICCI, and then you go on to become an entrepreneur and a big one at that. So what advice would you give for all the youngsters?
I think the basic advice I would give is, one, follow your passion. It's very important for you to do what you want to do from inside and not just what everybody is telling you to do or where. But if you find yourself in a situation where you're doing something, please put all your energy and all your effort into that. Don't say, I don't belong here, so I'm not going to do this. There is a saying that do with all thy might what thy hand finds to do. You must, whatever you're doing, if you're not doing it with all the passion and all the effort, there's no point. If you're spending your time doing it, you must look for the best. You must not just do the main thing, but you must see how you can improve the task you're doing and what more you can do. That is really important.
So in addition to all these things, one thing that we didn't get to really hear is that, and I've heard a lot, is that you do some fantastic social ventures, back in Gurgaon. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I was president of FICCI Ladies organization, and we initiated many projects for women empowerment. A lot of them were around unconventional roles, so training women to be drivers. We also did this project called Swayam. So this is out for all the young ladies who are there in the audience. We have a consultancy cell. Any of you want to set up a business or want to improve your business, please get in touch with Flo through Dr. Renuka David or Priya. We'll help you get a loan. We'll put you in touch with mentors in your business, and we'll send you for training programs. And we don't, it's not, there's just a small registration charge. Otherwise, it's all for free.
Got it. And this is nothing to do with Delhi. This is in Chennai.
This is all over India. So there is a cell in Chennai which is available. So we'll definitely help you with all the aspects and put you in touch with good people for all the aspects of the business.
Archana, thank you so much for taking the effort to come and for really enlightening us. Thank you so much, Archana.
Thank you.
Thank you.